Welcome on 360 Sport on Trust TV. Adeni G. Well, just to let you have some basketball there. Right now, we'll be looking at some stories trending in the world of sports. A lot of activities happened yesterday. A good one for Manchester City. And not forgetting the fact that Inter Milan also skate to UEFA Champions League. More of you will be coming on the show. But before then, let's start from the home scene. After all, charity begins at home. I have in the studio Jide Olushola. Good to have you, Jide.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, right now we start with the particular story that actually broke out from Lagos, where rain affected the National Stadium there. No casualty as National Stadium's floodlight collapsed in Lagos. Well, from the way it is right now, this particular thing happened yesterday after the rain.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate that the Surulere Stadium is just going through very bad times now. A few weeks ago, the minister was at the stadium, on an assessment tour, and he then said that they're going to they needed about 21 billion naira to refurbish the whole stadium, which caused a whole lot of issues, on the media space. But then with this now happening, with this floodlights now collapsing, thank God nobody died. There was nobody around that. But it just shows the level of decay that that this stadium, built over 50 years ago, has gone through, and it's just sad that things are just deteriorating inside that stadium. This ought to be a national monument. Of course, it's a national stadium as well, but the kind of neglect for the past 19 years has really brought down the value. Has really brought, and as you can see on the screen right now, you
look
can
at
see
how it's looking.
Yeah,
so
it's. This is what's supposed to be like our own Wembley before the Abuja Stadium was built. But it's just sad that the way things are right now with the stadium. But thank God, no casualty, which is just the good news about it, that nobody died at when the floodlights collapsed. But then our prayer now is to see how they can revive this stadium completely and bring it to that level it was, better than when it was, and see how we can, explore the usefulness of this stadium to the maximum.
But looking at the way it actually happened, if you look at that particular clip there, though no one died or no one got injured, but it's still a shocking event, because if you look at the way the size of that floodlight.
Yes, of course. But this is a study I've been to several times in the past, so I know I know this particular floodlight now. So it's just it's very big, very massive. With all everything just destroyed, everything from the top to the bottom, just got damaged. And around this floodlight, that's why we have there are some shops around and everything. But luckily, there was nothing of such as that. Nobody. That's just the prayer that nobody died, because it would have been catastrophic if people had died or if people were injured. That would be a double tragedy that. After the floodlights are falling, then people not still die. But thank God there was no casualty in any form, no death, no injury, nothing. Just only the floodlights destroyed. But we can see the level of decay. We can see the level of decay for these floodlights. It shows that this stadium needs total renovation from ground to top. It just shows that everything has gone wrong with this stadium. Like I said earlier, built over 50 years ago, and I've been neglected for the past 19 years. It became a den of thieves at some point. It became where criminals were living. Everything just collapsed for this stadium. It's just a pity anyway.
It's a pity. Looking at that floodlight there over there at National Stadium in Lagos, it's a very big one there, as that particular floodlight actually collapsed yesterday after rainfall. But from the way it is, Nigerians are waiting to see what will happen concerning this particular stadium. It's a national edifice, and right now we need to get this stadium back. And right now, something must just be done concerning. We've been talking about about that particular collapse of the floodlight in Lagos, and Jide has been talking concerning it. No casualty anyway, no one dies in that particular incident, but really the stadium has been unkept for so many years, and you look at it, one of the floodlight is down now, and Nigerians can just understand the fact that this particular stadium, the national stadium, really Lagos, where almost all Nigerians fell in love with when it comes to playing football. In fact, this particular stadium, when Eagles are playing, the Super Eagles, they are always at their best for the fear of the fans of Lagos. But right now, something must be done concerning that. Just giving you update there with alongside Jide Olushola. But right now, we have in the studio the media officer of Nigeria under-17 team for male, the one they call Golden Eaglet, is here with us to also give us insights to the preparation ahead of the under-17 Nations Cup that will be starting in Algeria in a couple of days. Now, having in the studio Francis Archie, the media officer of Golden Eaglets. Good to have you, Francis.
Good morning, thanks.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about your team. That's under-17 Golden Eaglets. The preparation right now will be focusing on them. The preparation so far ahead of the under-17 Nations Cup in Algeria. How prepared are these boys?
From what we have seen so far in the camp, and you know, the training sessions and even the friendly games played, I can see that the players are really prepared. We have in our midst sound coaches. We're talking about Ndoka Agbade, who won it as a 16-year-old in 1985 in China, who also won it as an assistant coach to Manu Gaba in 2013. He has seen it all in football. Having played up to the Super Eagles, he knows what is at stake, and he has a way of talking to the players. And these players are young, 16, 15. We have in our midst, we have in the team about 4 or 5 players who are students. 2 or 3 are in GSS3. 1 is in SS1. Nigerians have never presented such kind of team before in the history of Nigeria.
Mainly looking at their faces, you know they are very, very young.
Very young players. Like the one behind Isaac is just in SS1.
Wow.
SS1. We have 2 GSS3 students. And they are not just here for maybe to make up the numbers. They are equally playing good football. So we are very certain, we're very optimistic of the team doing well. You know, football, nobody can be so sure. But when you are putting so much work, when you are putting so much hard work, you expect to have reward. And the reward is to win your first match against Zambia. Your reward is to win your second match against Morocco, which is 3 days after the game against Zambia. We're playing Zambia on 30th of April.
That's this month.
Just next week Sunday, we're playing Zambia. And we're also playing Morocco 3 days later. That's the 3rd of May. Then on 6th of May, we play South Africa. We're not playing countries that are not known in football in Africa. We're playing strong countries. Zambia, under-17, they are the current champions of COSAFA. We are the current champions of WAFU B. So South Africa, they defeated South Africa in the final. We're looking at Morocco. Morocco, everybody knows that Morocco football is very well organized, well structured, and they have platforms, they have different programs they're doing for their team. So we're not underrating anybody, we're not underrating any team, but I can assure you that what Coach Ndoka Agbade has imparted to these boys, if they're able to reenact them on the pitch, we will be sure of victory. We are not underrating, we are not trying to be too boastful, we're not boasting. It is just, football is something that if you give it out, it will give it back to you. It's not hidden. We have players that can score goals. We have teams that can score goals. It says something because whenever you go to the training session, me, I'm a journalist, the media officer to the team, but at the same time, sometimes I go with my biro because I'm also learning. It told them something that it's not looking at to create a team that is just known for good football, but a team that is known to be very bad. It's not creating a team that is good. It's creating a team that will be so wicked, that will be so bad against his opponent.
Let out team.
Yes, because he wants to control the outcome of every game in their own favor. That the outcome of every game must be in our own favor.
That's for the team.
Yes, we're not looking at no matter who you are, you can do your juju, your knocking, but we want to control the outcome of the game at the end.
Even from these particular graphics, it's obvious that the Coach Ndoka Agbade, is really having a very good time with the young lads that under 17 ahead of the Nations Cup that will be starting on April 30 over there in Algeria. And the media officer, Francis Archie, has been with us in the studio talking about how prepared the team is. And right now, for the fact that they are ready, very little team. And I still remember vividly, there was one particular interview granted by John Obu, a former coach, talking about how prepared this team. He has seen them, he has seen how prepared when it comes to scoring goals, holding the midfield, and also defending, even the goalkeepers. And right now, you say you are going to be facing Zambia, then afterwards Morocco, then later South Africa. Yes. 3 in a row, 3 tough countries when it comes to very football in Africa right now. You said the boys are very prepared.
Very, very.
What about the psychology of these guys? About, okay, the coach has been talking, the media team, the coaching crew, the psychology and all that. How do you see them reacting to those advice coming from different angles?
That is why every one of us sees them as our younger brothers or as our sons. You understand? There's nothing like, you see, there's a way you talk to them in a very loving manner. We are petting them. They don't understand what is at stake. Most of them are they're eager to play football. They're eager to play.
They're just happy.
Team. We have told some of them this is what to expect when they are even singing the national anthem. Some of them have never wore that jersey to understand singing national anthem before 60,000 capacity crowd. We have told them what to expect. When you are singing the national anthem, be calm. When you're on the field, be calm. I remember in 2020, that's last Nations Cup in Cameroon. Sadiq Kumar told me that Super Eagles striker said when they told him he was starting and when they were singing the national team, there was not
national anthem.
National anthem. He was not feeling his legs. He was standing.
The leg was wobbling.
Yes, he was not feeling his legs because he
was under pressure.
I'm the one that will be top 9. I will top the 9. I'm the leading.
For Nigeria.
I'm the lead striker for this game. And Nigerians, over 200 million
are watching me right now.
So he was overwhelmed. We have told the players, just imagine yourself, you are at the FIFA Go project. Imagine yourself, you are at the national stadium. When you see yourself in Nigeria, imagine yourself, you are in that environment. Play your ball. Play your ball. Don't fidget. Don't allow anxiety to trouble you. Just play your normal football. Remember what the coaches have told you, what they have taught you. Just bring your A game to bear on that day. We played the friend game yesterday. Yes, John Obu talked because we played the friendly game against AS Roma. It was 2-0. 2-0, 2 goals scored in first half. We couldn't score again, but we played against a team that is very, very resilient. Very strong, older guys, and they knew what was at stake. What they did was they made sure that we did not get free kick.
After those 2 goals,
there are some areas that even if you are me as the media, there are some areas that will get free kick. Me, I know that free kick is like penalty because we have among the players, we have some certain players that have been trained by Udu Kagbadi on how to play free kick. I never knew that there are some boots you wear, you cannot play free kick and it will score. Based on the boot
the way they made the boot.
Yes, there's some boot, and there's a way you play free kick. Your standing position will determine if you are scoring that goal. Because he has taught them how to stand, how to move before you play the free kick.
From the way you are talking right now, even you, if they should put in that, you score goals, because it seems to have learned a lot from Unduka Ubadi.
Yes, we are learning. All the officials, the doctor, the physio, the equipment manager, the coordinator, everybody is learning, because like you are listening. And he told them that he is not. You see, he asked him about this coaching philosophy. He said the coaching philosophy is the Brazilian skills, the resilience, the tactical discipline of the Italians. If you can see what AC Milan did to Napoli, they were tactically disciplined, nothing much, and they got their goal. They came back and
they qualified.
They qualified. They wanted it and they got it. Then the German spirit, the German machine. When you play a team that is never tired, they come against you 90 minutes of the day. Is bringing that. Then you also have the flair of the Spanish. They play with flair.
So right now, Golden Eaglets.
There's the Nigerian spirit, because for every Nigerian team, whether it beat Golden Eaglets, Super Eagles or Flying Eagles, they have this mindset that we can beat anything.
Of
we
course.
have beaten Brazil before, we have beaten Argentina before, we have beaten Germany before.
We've come from 4 goals down.
So they have
Russia.
This Nigerian spirit that we can beat anything, and that is what he has imparted to them. That when you get to Algeria, you want to make name. You want to defend the colors of this country, the green, white, green. You want to tell the world that football in Nigeria can never go down. It will continue to go up. Forget the fact that the Super Eagles did not qualify for the World Cup, which has gone. But we have in our midst, in our country, blessed with abundance of football talent, that anywhere they are, they will definitely showcase what God has given to this country in abundance, which is the football talent.
You really want to be the media officer of that particular team there. We've been talking with Francis Archie. You can see the coach Nduka Ogba, they are tutoring his boys. They are battle ready. They fired up ahead of this competition right now. Well, we've been talking with Francis Archie, but right, we just have to, first of all, I want to commend you. You are looking greenish.
Yes, sir.
This is Nigeria. Good one there. But from everything you've said right now, what's the motive of this Under-17 World Cup to the entire squad?
Get the ticket to the World Cup.
First.
That is the first focus. Get the ticket. How do you get the ticket? You play your first game, win. Your second game against Morocco, win. Your third game, whatever happens, make sure that you get reasonable results. Then your quarter-final is the most important game in that tournament, because it is the quarter-final that will determine if you are crossing to the World Cup. And the boys have been told your quarter-final game is the most important game, and it is a must-win. When you get to the semi-final and you take another step to the final, then you can now be looking at winning the trophy. Unfortunately, or let me say, to be realistic, Nigeria has never won that trophy before. That is the only trophy that is eluding the Nigerian Football Federation. That trophy, Under-17 African Championship trophy, Nigeria has never won it. We have played final on few occasions, we lost. We have played semi-final, but of course we may not win the tournament in Africa. We'll still go ahead to the World Cup and win the World Cup. But this time around, if we get to once we get to the final, well, I don't want to use the word if. I don't want to be too conditional. I want to believe that these boys have the capacity, they have the mentality, and they have the skill, they have the resilience, the Nigerian spirit to do it in Algeria.
Well, we've been talking with Francis Archie, Golden Eaglet media officer. Really, they are prepared for this particular competition coming up in Algeria by April 30 against Zambia, Morocco, and also South Africa. Well, we want to appreciate your time with us. But while we're still in the studio, let's quickly talk about our women football. Yes, the ladies, they've also done well playing some games yesterday. Let's look at the result of the NWFL in Group A. Bayelsa Queens 3-0 against Nigeria Telsa in that particular encounter. Delta Queens won, Rivers Angels won, making it 1-1 between the two South-South teams. Heartland pipped Royal Queens by a lone goal right now. If you transfer to the way the table is standing in Group A of the NWFL match day 14, you have Delta Queens at top with 26. They make it to the Super 6. Bayelsa Queens and Rivers Angels. Well, that's the three teams with green color there. They qualify for the Super 6. Well, Osun Babes right now, they relegated from this league. Now let's look at Group B result. Also how they played matches there. Nasarawa Amazons 5-0 against Adamawa Queens. FC Robo Queens of Lagos 4-0 against Confluence Queens. Those goals should have come earlier for Nasarawa Amazon. But right now, if you look at the table, they couldn't make it to the Super 6. It's FC Robo Queens at top the group there so far with 22 points, followed by Edo Queen and also Confluence Queens. But a point ahead of Nasarawa Amazon right now actually came fourth there. Looking at the way it is, Ibom Angels also relegating from this particular league. Well, Jude, I can tell you that it's so painful. Nasarawa Amazon winning so much yesterday, but it doesn't count.
So I'm sure they tried to score so much goal, hoping that somebody will drop here, and then they will get to the top position by maybe good difference or something. But it never happened. It didn't work out for them because they had the opportunities in previous games to make amends, but then that's the problem, that they were waiting to make part for the last game, that will push them for, but then it didn't work out for them. They scored all the goals they needed to score, but it still did not work out for them. But I was very sad for Nigeria Tales, because that's the team I actually like, because the bulk of the players are in the national team as well too. And so sad that, of course, they're not playing the Super 6, but then that's what football is all about. That's what football is all about. We've been talking about the women football NWFL that took place across Nigeria yesterday. Right now, let's talk about the big boys, the Champions League, a big one for Manchester City. They are really fired up right now. Looking at the result first before we talk about how it went down yesterday. On aggregate result right now, Man City, they were able to at least get a 1-1, and it's make it 4-1 against Bayern, winning the first leg 3-0, and you have
add one more to make it 4. Inter Milan against Benfica. It ended 3-3 over there at the San Siro, the one they call Giuseppe Meazza. But Inter Milan adding extra 2. They've scored earlier in the first leg to make it 5-3 on aggregate against Benfica. Well, this game, Bayern Man City. If people were thinking maybe Bayern would be able to turn the table, it never happened. Man City came to the party.
You know, unfortunately for Bayern, they lost the game in the first leg. And that was practically Thomas Tuchel's first game for Bayern as a coach then. So maybe I don't impacted his tactics to the players then. But then second leg they played better. But then Sané was quite wasteful yesterday. He had some chances that he could have scored against Man City. But again, that beast that they call Erling Haaland.
Erling Haaland, right?
He's a robot, of course.
Robotic Haaland.
He scored again, and that practically killed the game for Bayern. Of course, they scored their goal, though penalty later, but then there was nothing they could do again. So Bayern lost that game in the first leg. It was going to be very, very hard for them to come back for them to come back 3 goals down and see how they can overrun Man City. Because Man City now, their only aim right now, if they lose the Premier League, no problem. But I think their aim right now is to win the Champions League. That's the reason why they bought Haaland. You know, he is the missing piece in Guardiola's
squad.
Yes, and of course he has been delivering his goals from Guardiola steady. So it was a nice game yesterday, but then Man City were out the upper hand over Bayern.
I see Francis itching to say something.
I think that when you look at Bayern Munich and Man City, both legs, Bayern really played. Just like what Ndukabari was saying. You can play, you can control, but we control the outcome of the game. Man City control the outcome of the game by giving them training. If you look at that score,
the first leg,
it did not really look like a game that's supposed to be training. But because if you look at the chances created by Bayern Munich, they couldn't convert them. But meanwhile, when you look at what really happened, Man City just controlled the outcome. They gave them training first half. Even yesterday's game, you will be thinking that Bayern will score 2 within first half. They couldn't because Man City knew what they were doing. When you control the outcome of a game, when you want to just get the ball, you know what you want to do with the ball. Look at the goal that Haaland scored. They knew it was a chance for Bayern Munich, a goal for Man City. You miss the chance, they kicked the ball, they got 3 passes. The ball was inside the net because they knew what they wanted to do. Haaland got the ball, and Haaland is configured to score goal. It's not really a skillful, he was just configured
banging the goals.
To score goals, and he's now playing in a team where they have system that is favoring to score the goals. So Man City controlled the outcome of the game, both legs, and they're in semi-final.
In semi-final, also Inter Milan also did well. Inter Benfica, briefly.
Okay, yes. Benfica lost that game as well too in the first leg. You know, yes, this game was a very lovely game, 3-3. You know, score, but then the 2 goals they scored, because then in the first leg, of course, killed them. Like Totori said now, that they control the game.
Now, to take you on this before we wrap it up, Inter will be facing AC Milan. Yeah. Man City against Real Madrid. And I know Real Madrid is your team. How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling very, very confident because I know that it's going to be very, very, very tough. Like we said yesterday, it's going to be very, very tough for Madrid. But knowing the kind of team Ancelotti has, they'll surely overcome.
You believe they can beat Man City?
I believe.
Well, for Inter Milan, AC Milan. For Inter Milan, AC Milan, briefly.
It's a Milan derby. It go either way. But I say AC Milan. We want about Champions League, must have the tradition. There are some teams, when they get to certain stage of the tournament, the tradition comes to play. AC Milan, they've won it about 7 times. And then you look at the fact that the way they played against Napoli, they were tactical, they knew what they wanted, and they got it. So I don't mind. I will not be surprised if AC Milan qualify for semi-final ahead of for the final ahead of Inter Milan.
Inter Milan. A big one there coming from Francis Archie, the Golden Eaglets media officer, join us in the studio to talk about the preparation of the team ahead of the Nations Cup, and also Jide Olushola that has been doing the talking concerning other stories that we actually took. Thanks to you guys for coming on the show.
You're welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Adeni Ajishafe, thanks for watching. Well,